Good morning from sunny Jersey. And today with me I have somebody who's become a dear friend and inspiration to all, Helen Mathews. Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, I'm great. I'm just enjoying the beach and the sea here. So listen, we kind of became friends in an unusual way. But do you want, this is because there'll be people listening to this that are not familiar with the story. So can you just start by telling everybody about how your health issues started and how that sort of evolved?
Oh God, right. So I feel like it did start at COVID times. I got COVID 4 times and I was really, really bad with it. And I just didn't feel the same after that. And then about 3 years ago, I got a bite. We don't know if it was a tick or a spider, but it was really bad, the bullseye rash and all that. And that is when it kind of just went downhill. And then 2 years ago, I got a diagnosis for fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, endometriosis, IBS, and polycystic ovaries. So quite a lot going on. And then obviously kind of March, April time this year is when I hit rock bottom. And I had started going to the health hub for treatments for the fibro. But I knew that wasn't what was actually going on. And I was saying to the girls in the health hub, there's something wrong with my gut. Do you know anywhere I can go? I need my gut checked. I just knew. I just kept saying to my doctor as well, like, this is my gut. I know it's my gut. And then they passed me on to Lilia. And this is where this all started. And thank God, because it's changed my life.
So listen, explain to me how you knew it was your gut, because quite a lot of people have said that to me. What was it, a feeling in your digestive system? Was it just an intuition? What exactly made you think, right, okay, there's something here that can be changed that they're not getting?
I think it was half intuition and half like the symptoms. So at the very start of April, it got to the point where I literally couldn't eat without having reactions. I thought it was a histamine intolerance because I was looking into so much, but I was actually having to work and fast all day because anytime I ate, I just went downhill. Like my body just started shutting down, and I was like, this is definitely something gut related. And obviously doing all my own research and stuff, I just knew. I could just feel it, like in my soul. I was like, this is my gut health.
Right. So, yeah, it was very obvious by the digestion and the fact that any food was making you either uncomfortable or exhausted, which is, I think, key for people listening because, you know, I mean, clearly we know that 80% of our energy goes in digesting food. So if that system is not working properly, it steals from the 20% of energy. So you can get bloating, discomfort, obviously diarrhea, you can get constipation, and you can also get extreme fatigue. So you'd already started doing the Superhuman protocol, hadn't you? How did you find the hub? Tell us about that. How did you find the hub?
So it was actually my sister Gail. She had been going prior to her high rocks, and they were treating her for that. She works at St Mirren's, so they were doing a wee bit of work together back in March, and she was chatting to them about me, and she was saying, like, I need somebody to help my sister, and they were like, send her in for a couple of treatments. So I did actually start coming in March for the Superhuman, and it was 1 week. It was at the end of March or start of April. I came in and I was talking about to Lee, and I was like, Lee, I'm not good. Like, something's going on with my stomach. Like, what can I do? Do you know where I can go? And then she was like, oh my God, Lily is starting in here next week. She'll be able to do a test for you. And I was like, right, okay. And honestly, I remember at the time thinking, I'm not going to make it to that Wednesday. I'm not making it to then. Like, it was that bad. But yeah, and then obviously come in and seeing you that day, and that's where it all started.
So tell us about that. Because obviously the voice print, I mean, for me it's obvious that a lot of what we're working on is invisible to modern medicine's tests, i.e. endoscopes, colonoscopes, all the cameras that people are getting are not seeing the issue. And a lot of the tests, as we know, even for Lyme's, they're just not always accurate. So for me, the test is it works on something that's invisible so far to most humans' eyes, but it works on the vibration of what is going on in the body. So that makes complete sense to me, that in our voice, we can tell straight away if somebody's not feeling good by the way they speak. We accept that.
Yeah.
We're like, you okay? You know, you can feel it. So how we are now translating this, what's going on in here, through the voice, and then the technology, the software, of course, translates that into English for me to see what's stressing the body. So I know that some people are like, what's, you know, they don't really understand. How did you feel about that test when I said to you, it's going to happen
Well, I had
via your voice?
I had previously been to the doctor and had a stool test and blood test done because I asked to get my gut checked. Nothing came up, right? Of course it didn't. So I was given a omeprazole and sent on my way. But when I came into you, I'm very into holistic health. I've always been into stuff like that. I had 100%, like, I believed that was going to be when it was going to be. Like, I had every trust in that test. And it's funny because I had heard of, a lot of people haven't heard of parasites, but I've heard of all that before prior to this. And when you said it, I kind of knew anyway. Again, I've got a really strong intuition. I kind of know my body. So I wasn't surprised, but with the Lyme, I was a wee bit surprised. And obviously Candida, I hadn't really heard of that before either. But it was this kind of relief. I was like, oh my God, like, there's something else. It's not fibro, it's not chronic fatigue. So yes, it's a good test.
Yeah, so I mean, because the fibro really means usually you've got a painful body, a body that's painful when you move, and chronic fatigue just means you're exhausted. And I think, good morning, Lee. I think the really difficult thing for people to understand is that a disease, for example, fibromyalgia, is simply a range of symptoms. And whether the label is chronic fatigue, whether the label is ME, whether the label is fibromyalgia or arthritis or whatever, the name is just gives you an idea what the symptoms are. And you know, I always say to people when they come for the test, you've not got anything wrong with you. You've got an imbalance in your ecosystem.
Yeah.
So then we obviously had that chat. I then gave you some direction as to what products. I don't really want to talk about the products on here because there's so many different ways to do it. And if anybody wants to find out what you're doing, well, they can either DM me or you. But I don't like promoting products because there's no one size fits all. But you went away and then you said to me, well, I do a 72-hour fast, because that's the first question everybody asks me. Do I need to do a 72-hour fast? And I was saying, well, that's not normally, I would not recommend that to somebody with fungus, because you can feel really bad, you know, in the detox. And we'll go on to talk about that. But what I said to you was, well, do 24 hours, see how you feel. You can extend it. And you then went on to do, was it nearly 80 hours you did?
Done 80 hours.
And so that was an amazing start, because you then gave the body back all of that energy and allowed it to start a process that it will always do. And then you went on to the cleanse. So tell us what happened as you started, you know, the first 2 weeks of the cleanse.
So I started the fast on the Sunday the 19th April. I don't know how I know these dates, but I'll never forget it now. So the Sunday to the Wednesday morning, and then I was actually in with you guys on the Wednesday for my Superhuman, and I remember walking in there and I was a different person already within 3 days. My body just, sorry, I'm getting a call, I'm just going to ignore that. My body just completely changed within 3 days. I feel like my anxiety completely lifted, because all these things going on in your body, the parasites, make you extremely anxious. So my anxiety completely lifted. I felt lighter. I just had more energy. Like on day 3, I was completely euphoric. Like honestly, I felt as if I was on something. It was crazy, but in a good way. I felt fab. And then on the Wednesday, I started my protocol. So I went in with the zeolite products and the clean diet. So obviously no sugar, no grains. And I would say honestly, by day 5, 6, I just was thinking to myself, like, surely this can't be happening already. Like, I felt amazing. I felt completely different. I was jumping out of bed. Like, honestly, it happened so fast, and then it just got better and better as time went on. I would say the first 3-4 weeks were my best weeks, and then that's when I started really detoxing and had hard moments. But even my family that first week were like, the difference in you, like, what is this magic that you're doing? Like, that's how different it was.
Yes,
so
and
yeah.
I think that, you know, that there's 2 things here. One, you're actually taking action towards healing, and you feel empowered that you can actually start taking control over what the body's doing, rather than the very disempowering message of you have to learn to live with this, which is, you know, you and a lot of people that come to me, they really are nearly the end of their tether. It breaks my heart that there's people probably watching this and definitely not watching this that do not know about this and have been going to the doctor sometimes for decades and never, just not getting well, and slowly actually degenerating. But let's just clear up the whole let's clear up the whole parasite thing. Sorry. Which is that we've all got parasites, we've all got worms, we've all got all sorts of things living on and in us. There's literally trillions of things living in our digestive tract. So, because people say, have I got parasites? Like, yeah, we all have.
Yeah.
It's just that when it gets out of balance, and, you know, there's various reasons for that as well. Why are we all inflamed? You know, and we can blame the food chain, we can blame the water chain, we can blame stress, we can blame COVID infection and vaccines. There's a lot of things that we can blame, but that really doesn't matter. How do we move forward? And, you know, I think, and I say this to everyone that comes, you did something that most people, I reckon 5% of people will actually follow the direction, not for any other reason. They're busy, they're addicted maybe to certain habits and things. You know, it's a challenge. So how did you navigate? Because changing your diet, that's why I gave up being a nutritionist, because it bored me to death, because I knew people weren't going to do it. So it's like, what is the point in me even telling you what to eat? And that when I know you're going to eat it, and you're not going to eat the things I tell you to eat, and you're going to eat the things I tell you not to eat. So how did you navigate that? Because I know you had some dodgy old habits going on that I never found out until later.
I think the main thing was that I had got to breaking point. I was at rock bottom. For a start, when you hit rock bottom, that's when you're going to actually make the change. So I was at the desperate stage where I couldn't live another day feeling like that. So that was the first thing. Honestly, my diet, I always thought I ate clean. So I have been training since I was really young, 14. I've always ate healthy. And I was kind of used to eating whole foods, but I did eat a lot of fake, like protein bars, protein shakes, all your kind of synthetic foods, your synthetic yogurts and all that. So I had a lot of that, which is bad. So I just decided, right, I'm going to write a list of everything I'm allowed to eat, obviously from the kind of stuff that you'd sent me. And I was like, we're just going to go back to basics. And I just decided they're my 3 meals that I'm going to have, and I'm just going to have consistency. I'm not going to mix it up. I'm just going to eat the same things every day and see how I got on. And I honestly done that for the first 4 weeks. I didn't even change my meals. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't find it hard after that. See that 5 days, because I felt so good. That's when I was like, I'm locked in here because this is actually bloody working. So there was just no stopping me.
That's a very good point, because, you know, when I went onto the ketogenic diet the first time, because I like to try everything out in my own body, that's exactly what I did. I thought, instead of doing all the research and try to think of different things, just choose 2 breakfasts, 2 or 3 main meals, and just stick to that for the, you know, for the foreseeable. And the same thing. And what stunned me about that was how the muscle came up and the body fat went down. And clearly the fat is where we store our toxins. So I was like, what? Without even doing any real weight training, you know? Because like you, well, I mean, since I went through the menopause, I've completely lost interest in looking been fit, but I used to do a lot of training, and I was always intrigued by all these different ways. So then, let's talk about the actual detox and how that manifested for you and what you started to see coming out.
Oh God. This is so weird, right? Because I actually get addicted to go to the toilet. I was like, I can't even wait to get up in the morning and see what's coming out my poo. Honestly, I turned into a total weirdo, and everybody is so scared of it. I don't think it's scary. I think it's fascinating.
Me too.
So it's so fascinating. Like, and I've never poked my stuff with a bloody cotton bud and everything. Like, oh my God. Honestly, so I definitely had a flush of liver flukes, liver stones. The reason I know what these look like, I've obviously really researched into this. You want to know what you're looking for first. And I've seen like the wee worms, like like skin. So it's as if it's like a dead worm, the skin of it. They've actually come out my pee as well, which is scary because that's came out my reproductive system, which is probably all to do with the polycystic ovaries and the endometriosis. So I've had it coming out my pee and everything. And then obviously just like I've got pictures, I'm not going to show you, but just like kind of, I don't know, creatures, like kind of weird shapes. And then the candidas, like kind of yellowy mucusy type thing. So there's been loads. And honestly, this went on from day 4 till now. And we're on week 14. So but now it's less and less. So there's barely anything now.
You're still having a look.
But not as much. Like I was obsessed with it at one point. I had taken pictures and I'm like that to my friends and family. Look what I've got today, and they're like that. Oh my God. Coming into the health club, I'm like, just want to see my poo.
No, because I think I personally, I mean, I've obviously worked with people and they're like, do you know what? One girl, particularly in Malta, she had a really quite a long thing came out that you're like, that is definitely better out than in. But for me personally, I know it's working because of how I feel. And like you, my energy levels are great. My clarity, I'm like on the ball. And also I know how to kind of maintain it now because I've had candida since I was a young girl, thanks to the dentist, and a lot of antibiotics because of abscesses in my mouth. And of course, I had no idea, and neither did my mum, that they were wiping out my microbiome, and which caused me to drag myself through a lot of my life without realising what was wrong. And that's why it's so great now to have this really quick and relatively non-expensive test. Because, you know, people come to me and they've had every test and spent a lot of money, but they're still not well. You know, the tests, you know, you just don't even need a lot of these tests. What you do need is to understand the changes that you need to make. And like we're obviously looking to create communities, to make it easy, to share ideas and, you know, and to make fasting a thing of our lives. I mean, it's free. Everybody can do it. You can throw one in anytime you're not feeling great. Yes, sometimes it's difficult. So what? Feeling really sick and is very difficult as well. So we really need to get our big girl and boy pants on. So then talk about how you managed, what were your detox symptoms like? Obviously, visually you could see there's, the digestive system is releasing a lot of this stuff that was making me feel crap. So, but how did it actually manifest mentally and physically?
So obviously your kind of die-off symptoms, you'll get headaches and kind of tummy pains, a wee bit of fatigue. I remember having to come home every day from work and I was just napping for a wee hour here and there, so I was tired. But even though I had these kind of die-off symptoms, it was nowhere near as bad as I'd felt prior to starting this. And obviously I was taking a binder, and you do need to take a binder when you're detoxing, because when these things die in your body, they release toxins, and that's what causes the die-off symptoms. But you're still going to get them a wee bit. So yeah, I could just tell when I was getting the die-off. There was a couple of days at the start, like the first couple of weeks, like I had a Sunday where I just couldn't get out of bed. I was like, I need to rest today. And I think that was because I actually was doing far too much. As soon as I felt better at day 5, my diary was full. I was out bloody gallivanting, like I was doing all sorts. And
22,000 steps, I seem to remember.
And I just went straight in back to my old life because I was buzzing, and then it just hit me, and I was like, right, I need a rest day. So you need to listen to that. You need to tune in and be like, right, I'm staying in bed today. My body needs it. Nothing's going on. Just keep powering through. Like, a lot of people think, oh, this isn't working, I need to give up. Like, no, you just need to ride the wave and just rest, because that's just the way it is.
Well, I think this is key. And I think if you were getting any other treatment and you felt bad, if you were in an NHS type treatment, you would know you would have to relax. Whereas when you're doing it yourself, any little ache or pain, it's like, what's that? What's that? Is this, because people go into fear. And that did happen to you a couple of times, didn't it? You're not sure of what, you don't trust the body, you don't know. And I would just feel like and luckily you were coming up, you were, you had that, you were doing the Superhuman, which we'll talk about in a minute. But also we could reassure you. And obviously I'm at the other end of a phone to say, look, it's completely fine. And, I know that with the Gerson therapy, they say 3, 6, 9 and 12 months, you will absolutely want to give up. And as Herring's law kicks in, things seem to be getting worse before they get better. And maybe you're looking for a wee excuse to stop as well. So you can tell everybody, oh, I felt terrible. You're like, yes, you will. You might not, that you might feel, but you might, and you just have to exactly give into it. When the body is exhausted, it's saying, lie down till I fix the mess here. And if we stop looking at fatigue as a negative thing, but as part of a very profound sacred healing process, we can change our relationship with that fatigue. And like you were saying, nap, honour the body, give it the time and the space to actually do that, to do the healing that it will always do.
Yeah.
That innate intelligence that made the body hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there, and it's just waiting for us to stop putting in a lot of crap in here, in here, in here, in here, all of these places, and to just give it a chance to rebalance. And, my friend John Angus said what you said. He said, feeling better might not be that far away. And that's, I think, the thing, people they think, oh, it's going to take months, and we'll talk about the ongoing maintenance after the kind of 90-day cleanse. But, relatively speaking, you can feel better usually in a matter of weeks. And that obviously then gives you the impetus to keep on keeping on, because, we have to tend this garden really for our entire earthly life. So, and can we talk a wee bit about the emotional side, how you felt emotionally?
Oh God, so as I mentioned earlier, like, my anxiety was through the roof. My mood was low. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be when they had all these. I had over 20 symptoms a day. I felt horrendous. So the kind of change in that, like, emotionally, I just honestly felt like a different person. Like, I'm so much more confident. I've got my personality. I actually lost my personality as well. Like, my personalities came back. I'm just so much happier. I feel so much better. Obviously, I've had ups and downs. Like, there's a wee voice in your head sometimes, like, quit, you can't do this. But you need to have a strong mindset. You need to keep going, because there will always be that wee voice. But honestly, mentally, so much better. And with no medication, because I've not taken one tablet in my mouth since that day, the 19th of April. No painkillers, nothing for any anxiety or anything like that. So this was all just from the detox.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Hi, Kelly. Thank you. Yes, I think now, so you went on and you started telling your story on, was it TikTok primarily?
Yeah.
And of course, that kicked off literally hundreds of phone calls for me, because people wanted to understand what you'd been doing, and they wanted to come and have the test, and I think what it showed for both you and I was how many people are feeling the way that you were feeling. And and were lost in that mire of appointments, that somebody had gone to privately 17 times to get the same information. I mean, it's crazy, and people are spending a lot of money, desperate to get well, and they're not getting well. And then of course you start to lose hope and faith, don't you, in the body's innate healing capacity. Is that how you felt? Could you not see yourself ever being well again?
I honestly remember that kind of week before all this. I was like, I actually said to my best friend, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. It's a miserable life feeling like that. And being so active and running my own business, I was looking to the future and I was like, my life's over. That's genuinely how I felt. I was like, how am I meant to live my life feeling like this? It was terrible. But that's why I posted it on TikTok, because I wanted to make people aware of this. And I wanted people to know, like, we can heal ourselves, and like holistic health is the way forward, and you're not going to get anywhere going to the doctor, because a lot of them actually don't have a clue about gut health, to be honest. And I know my doctor's going to get a shock the next time she sees me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's hope. I say that to everybody. Normally, as I say, I deal with people who have been diagnosed stage 4 or living in a lot of fear. And I'm like, there's so much you can do now. Even a stage 4 diagnosis. I mean, I can't guarantee that anybody will heal, but there's literally hundreds of things that you can do. And the results that are coming out about ivermectin, which ultimately is a dewormer parasite as well. I know there's other areas that it works, but for me, it seems obvious that, the tests are coming out with an 86% success rate. We're moving into very different times for healing, energy healing, and it's very exciting. So let's talk about the ongoing, because whatever... When I used to work in the gym, we specialised in vibration training, and people would say, how long have I got to do it for? And I would just say, well, how long do you need to brush your teeth for? It's as simple as that. It's an ongoing, never-ending process, because we are organic. We're living in this gravitational field that, if we don't take action, we will degenerate, and we will go back to the earth, and there might be a lot of suffering involved. But now we're understanding, obviously. I think I said this to you as well. I say to everybody that for me, there's 2 diets. There's the healing diet, which you go for at 100%. And then there's the maintenance diet, which is the 80-20, where you can still have fun, go out with your pals, and then redress the imbalance. And, you and I both know having fun is essential, because you lose your sense of humour when you're not feeling well, Yeah,
it's important to have the fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me how you're sort of starting to reintegrate back into normal life.
So we're at week 14, so I'm actually going to detox till the 31st of July, which will be 15 weeks. Obviously, we've introduced a few wee supplements just last week to kind of support my gut a wee bit. And then from there, from the 31st, I've got 3 weeks till my holiday. So the plan is just to maintain, get my gut a wee bit stronger with the extra supplements. I'm going to start kind of adding in wee bits, because I don't want to go on holiday and start drinking all day, alcohol, having pizza, carbs, all the stuff I've not had for 15 weeks. I'm not just going to go all in. So I'm now starting to kind of just test wee things. So I had a can of Diet Coke the other day. Oh my God, by the way. I was like, what a feeling. I've not had a can of Coke in 12 weeks or 13 weeks, whatever. So I had a wee can of juice, and I was like, that's a wee treat today. I've not had like any bread or anything yet. I'm not even bothered. It's weird. I don't even feel like I want anything. Like, I'm so enjoying eating this way. Like, my friend was eating a pizza in front of me, and she's like, do you want a bit? And I was like, I actually don't. Sorry, like, it's fine. But I've had wee squares of dark chocolate, 85%. So that was lovely after not having any sugar for that whole time. And I'm going out for dinner with my family next week. So I'm planning on having a sourdough pizza. I think it's just about quality foods as well.
Absolutely. I mean, pizza gets a bad rap, but done properly
Aye.
with the ancient grains and certainly sourdough base, there's nothing wrong with that. Some of the blue zones the Sicilians, that's what they live on, because they make all their own food with ancient grains. Nothing's genetically
Italian food.
modified or sprayed, you know.
It's
So
the
it's
freshest.
yeah,
I love
exactly.
Italy.
So let's talk. So the thing is now you're much more in tune with the body and you understand, and this is what I say to everybody, I want you to do your own research. I want you to only ever have to come back to me if you want to, not because you're lost. Understanding the maintenance of the microbiome is key to being very, very, very self-empowered. And, you know, when you feel good, you think good. It's not rocket science. So you can make better choices, and you'll be very aware if you know, well, I certainly have, taken my eye off the ball for a little bit, you know, and then you're like, right, okay, back on it, because you know what to do. But let's talk about the Superhuman. And because I'm obviously I've only been at the Health Hub full time for just over 3 months. And I was talking to a client the other day who'd come to me through your video. She's not done a single thing that I've asked her to do in terms of the microbiome, but she's joined as one of our members and is turning up and doing the Superhuman, and the difference in her. And I found that really interesting, because we know that oxygen helps the microbiome. We know that parasites hate light. We know all that, right? And PEMF obviously eases the fascia and the stress and any so-called fibromyalgia symptoms. So we know all that. But what I wondered was, without the nutritional changes, if you can get people up the energetic ladder, which we can with the Superhuman, then they're in a brighter, lighter place to make better choices. Because when you're down here exhausted and all you can think of is getting through the day so you can get back to your bed at night, you're not going to make great choices. You know, not unless you've got somebody that can make them for you. So tell us how the Superhuman has worked for you. And obviously you came through your sister and you started doing the full Superhuman, didn't you?
Yeah, I love coming to get that, honestly. Like, there has been weeks where I've come in maybe having a die-off day, so I've had headaches, I've been really tired. There was a day I came in and I was like, I don't even have the energy to do the 20 minutes on that treadmill today, but we've done it anyway. And honestly, it's like an instant feeling, like you just feel recharged. That's the only way to describe it. You're completely recharged after it. It's like something's just plugged you into something and charged you right up. That's how it feels. So yeah, obviously with the PEMF, a lot of the time it always goes right down to my gut and my stomach, and that's when you know that's where it's all needed. You can feel it. It's as if that's where it's attracted to. So that'll be zapping all the wee buggers, and all the pain. And obviously I was having a lot of neck and back pain. It's so weird. I was out my walk this morning and I was like, I've got no pain in my body. Like, it's still at this point, 15 weeks, I'm like that. It's so, I'm like, how have I not get any pain? Like, considering how bad it was. So obviously it's helped with the pain, it's helped with the detox, it's helped flush everything out. And it's just been such a good thing to have alongside the detox and the diet, because it helps just keep you going.
There's some quite extraordinary data coming out especially around the PEMF, because I saw it when I was in Skye, and I think I told you this about my friend who had broken her foot and how she was walking without a boot not even a week later, and I was like, she'd been bumming her way down the stairs. And I thought, I also had a red light mat, but she was using the PEMF once or twice a day. But they're now saying that it can speed up the heal. And I do not have concrete evidence of this, but we're starting to really see that broken bones can heal so much faster. But the thing is with PEMF, and I say this to everyone, if you can afford the time and the money, become a member. You're going to heal faster, because you know, a third of our energy comes from our food, and that's if our digestive system works, and that's if the food's got any nutrition in it, you know, because what they've done to the food chain. But the rest of it would normally come from nature, through the feet, through the light, through the eyes, and through the breathing from the trees. And we're not outside enough. And even if you wanted to be outside in Scotland, you'd be hard pushed. So we're now all running in kind of amber red, and some are in extreme red. So all that it's doing is just charging the body at the cellular level. And then, you know, again, people say, how long do I have to do it for? Well, it's like, well, how long do you have to eat for? How long do you want energy for? And this is why you and I have talked, obviously, about having a vision to get the biotherapies all over Scotland, and making sure that people can bring them into their homes, bring them into their community, bring them into their garden with a pod, bring them into their business. You know, this is what we have to do. That, you know, if I'm lucky, obviously, I go into the health hub at usually somewhere between 5 and 6 a.m. and I'm just like in the sun. I'm in the Superhuman. I know, but everybody's saying to me, you're looking amazing. And I mean, obviously a wee bit of tan helps, but I feel it. I feel completely energised by utilising these biotherapies. So you want everyone to have access to that, don't you? That's why we started Health at Home.
And it makes your skin glowy, by the way, Matt. I've never had so many compliments on my skin in my life.
I know.
That'll be the red light, so... Aye.
Well, exactly. I think, you know, we're looking at health, but there's all these little kind of byproducts that are like Lee Bell was telling me the difference in her skin, and her thread veins that she had, so making a big difference to that. But also what I love is that, you know, people are saying the things that they can do again, like play with your grandchild, rather than kind of looking after them and keeping them alive and feeling exhausted during that. You're actually actively engaged in the enjoyment of a child. And, you know, this is why I really want this for young mums as well, because it's exhausting working, bringing up kids, running a business, as you know, and the stress that can put upon everybody. You know, if you can't work, you know, it's like the whole thing. You know, it's people's lives have really been turned upside down since 2020.
I couldn't imagine you feeling like that and having to look after a young child. I could not imagine that.
Yes, I know. It's not easy, and then there's the mum guilt and all the stuff that goes with it. So yeah, that's why obviously I'm very, very passionate about getting this out to the masses. And from a Heal Scotland perspective, I really think we can I know we can make a huge difference in communities with this equipment. So that's why if anybody wants to open a wee sub-hub anywhere, then, you know, we look at how we can make that happen, because again, it's a bit like buying a treadmill. You know, you can buy all the biotherapies, but will you use them? Do you understand what's happening? And that's why, again, some people come and they're like, oh, it's not working. And like, it's taken you 40 years to get sick and you're expecting to get well with 3 superhumans. Come on. This is this is where the membership. Aye. We're in it for the long. You want to stay well. You want to prevent disease. You're in it for the rest of your life here. And I'm really excited at the whole kind of anti-aging side of it as well, you know, and how people are looking and how much happier you are in your family if you feel great, if you've got energy. You know, it reverberates out, doesn't it? And I'm sure you're the same at your work. You know, people come from me because they've been lying on your table getting some treatments from you. And they're, you know, you're obviously a living, breathing example of the change that can happen when you decide to take your power back. Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up?
I just honestly think, like, if there's anybody out there that thinks they've got like gut issues or they do have health issues and they're just scared to detox, scared to put the work in, or they're just needing that push, like, honestly, just go for it, because my life has done a 360. I have went from rock bottom, and I'm not joking, I nearly gave up. I was just so low, and now I am going on holiday in a couple of weeks. I'm back to myself. My relationships with all my friends and family are the strongest they've been in years, because I actually want to socialise now. Everything's get better, and it's only going to get better, because we're still detoxing, we're still doing it, but in the next couple of months it's only going to get better. So if you are at that point where you need the push, just do it, because what have you got to lose? There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. So
absolutely. Morning, Sharon. And listen, thank you for your huge inspiration. And as I say, this is it makes me quite emotional, because I know how many people are suffering. And, you know, you're just like, oh, you're so close to once you understand this stuff, you can feel better so quickly. So thank you for, I know you didn't do it intentionally, but you've inspired literally thousands of people watching your videos. And obviously you've sent so many people to me, and I'm now looking to train people in what I'm doing so that we can really get this out to the masses. So your single change in your story is inspiring a huge, you know, what's the word, butterfly effect over our entire country, and we can really make a difference, because it's not going to come from big pharma. It's got to come from within. And it's the people like you. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it was the same thing. You've gone on your own healing journey, and you're now the doctor for a lot of people, because they're like, well, you know how I felt. You tell me what to do. And also I know that, you know, you and I are both really keen in this. And I was talking to Claire Houlihan, my friend who's a medical herbalist, and I was saying to her, can I send some people to you? Because like you're getting all these messages, and, you know, it's getting to a stage where, you know, you can't really answer everybody personally. And she said, I'm only interested in working with people that are ready for change. And I was like, I think we're all like that. You or I cannot fix anybody. We can guide, we can, you know, mentor. I'm actually putting together a 90-day program of videos to keep people inspired. We're looking at ways to support, bringing the communities into the health hub. So we really are, we're on it. You know, so please be patient with us. We want, absolutely, we need people to know this stuff and know that you don't need an expert. You just need a wee bit of understanding. And then everything can change for you exactly the same way as it changed for me, as it changed for Helen. Because I never really talk about my story. I had depression. I suppose you would call it fibromyalgia. That wasn't a name back in the day. Early onset arthritis, extreme bloating. And just, as I say, dragging myself through the day. And then, you know, they even gave me an operation in my nose because I had recurrent sinus infections and more antibiotics. And when I look back now, I'm like, oh my God. And, you know, even for mums in particular as well out there, although for everybody. But I think, you know, you can't be the best version of yourself with your kids. They can't see you for who you really are, because you're too exhausted just trying to get through the day's breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You know, it's like, it's crazy. So for me, the biotherapy is, let's charge up the cells in this country. 150,000 people is a critical mass, because I know a lot of people, I experienced a few on Sunday, they're like, fake nature. I was like, well, yeah, it's fake nature, but can you understand what it's doing for people? No, it was like, so you get the cynics, the people, I'm sure you've had it as well.
You can't please everybody. That's something you need to learn in life.
Absolutely. And there's going to be people
with something to say. You just ignore them.
People want to bring you down, and the classic is, oh, you're too thin. And you're like, no, you're too fat.
That's my new answer. The next person calls me too skinny, I'm like, oh, because you're fat. Honestly.
Well, the thing, you know, it's body dysmorphia, isn't it? What difference does it matter what weight you are if you feel amazing? You know, it's got nothing to do with weight. I know, exactly.
I used to care about that. See, now all I care about is how I feel, not how I look. Because you could look the most stunning supermodel, but you feel like a bag of garbage. And what's that worth? Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely. So listen, and if anybody listening to this is interested, obviously just email or phone the Health Hub and come and have your voice print done. It's £60. It takes 1 hour. But please remember, I can't fix you, but I can help you to fix yourselves. And also, if you're looking to buy biotherapies for your business or for your garden, for your community, because the other thing is, I'm like, fundraise and just get it in your community so that people can access it for really, you know, for not very much money. This is something that we absolutely have. We've got to share this, and I know you're as passionate about this as me. We've got to share this. And I think you were told by somebody at the beginning of the year, weren't you, that your path was going to change?
Yeah.
So watch this space, guys. Thanks a million, darling. I cannot thank you enough
so much,
for your
Lilia.
story.
Thank you.
And I look forward to our continuing journey.
Woo.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for all the lovely comments. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.